All right, Shalom. First and foremost, before I begin, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the elder apostles and bishops of the great millstone that rule well. And as always, peace, blessings, and salutations until the hopefully like tabernacle of David scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth. Now, what's being reported is pretty significant. And just seeing, the bold moves that have been made over there in the region of the East, the so-called Middle East, where you've had a series of attacks, back and forth between the Israelis and the Iranian, proxy armies. And then recently with the Israeli attack on Iran, trying to target key military targets. This right here, this is very symbolic. The fact that two countries which once had a history of conflict between one another are, piecing things up. They're strengthening ties together. And now they just did a joint Navy drill together. And that's very unprecedented if you understand the history between the two. They had a conflict in 1979 where you had the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps. They rose up against the Saudi Arabian regime because they was fighting for influence, over the Middle Eastern region, and it ended up causing, the rising of two monarchs, where the Muslim Brotherhood kind of split, and you had on the Saudi Arabian side, you had the Sunni faction, and then on the Iranian side, you had the Shiite factions. So they were once hostile with one another, and of course the Russia, UK, and other countries got involved, and there was a line that was being drawn. But decades later, you see them now piecing things up and joining forces, and that lets you know the level of hatred for Amalek, all right, over there, causing all this disruption of peace in the so-called Middle East. It got even once upon a time enemies basically coming together, burying the hatchet and, aligning themselves. All right, which you read Obadiah, it tells you how they would Esau would be made small among the heathen and greatly despised. So they're aligning themselves, with certain things in common. They're getting sick and tired of Amalek, and the last that we heard of Saudi Arabia was, they was given an invitation to join BRICS. Iran already got admitted into the BRICS nations. All right, and they just had a summit where more nations got admitted into it, and then they just announced a rollout of a BRICS currency, that's backed by resources, gold in particular. So this is all definitely leading up to the growing conflict over there in that portion of the world, which is going to lead to the war of Armageddon. All the nations are going to get involved. So just to start, we know that this is the Lord, waking up the mighty men to prepare them for what? For war. Let's go to Joel 3 and verse 9. And it says, proclaim you this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up, beat your plowshares into swords and your pointed hooks into spears. let the weak say, I am strong. So they've been developing all this military apparatus, and doing all these different drills, basically practicing for war, flexing their, military firepower and their capabilities, so on and so forth. And it's been going on. You had China has been linking up with Russia, not too far from the coast of Alaska. And then now they've been saying that China's been getting ready for preparation to invade Taiwan. So they've been in the South China Sea, prepping themselves. So the U.S. is going to get involved eventually for the sake of Taiwan, since they, have ties with them. So it's all leading up. All right. And we just got to continue to watch, like the scriptures tell us to. It says, assemble yourselves and come, all you heathen, and gather yourselves together round about till it cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Yahweh, that the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, which means Yahweh Shaphat, the Most High's judgment. For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. So the Lord's going to bring them over into, this valley, which represents the place of the Most High's judgment, where this war is going to be taking effect. It talks about how the Lord's going to, in Revelation, the 16th chapter, how he's going to basically dry out the Euphrates River, to prepare the way of the kings of the East, because they're going to be fighting in this last world's war, which is the war of Armageddon, which the word Armageddon, it means a mountain of the troops, Armageddon. Okay. And then let's go to Joel, the 2nd chapter, and the 20th verse. Because it says that the Lord said that he would remove the northern army, far off from them. And that's talking about the American army. They're going to get involved, right? Joel 2:20 says, but I will remove far off from you the northern army and will drive them into a land barren and desolate. So it's going to be a large landmass that's complete desert, right? With his face toward the East Sea, and that's facing the Eastern Sea is dealing with the Euphrates River that leads down into the Persian Gulf, and the Persian Gulf is connected to the Arabian Sea. And this particular drill that they had, the Iranians and the Saudis happened to be in the Gulf of Oman, and if you know your maps, the Gulf of Oman is right in between the Persian Gulf, where it actually meets the Arabian Sea. Let me go here. Yep. Let's go to images. And, here's the map. So this is where the drill took place. And it happens to be right there. All right. You got the Persian Gulf. The Euphrates River, runs into the Persian Gulf, right below Iran. And then, right on this side of the UAE, you got Oman, and that's the sea. And it goes, right into the Arabian Sea. So this is the Eastern Sea. All right. And they happen to have joint drills, Iran and Saudi Arabia. These are two once upon a time enemies. And now they're, partnering up, through this BRICS alliance. Okay. And I guarantee you, the U.S. is not feeling this move, nor is the Israeli government feeling this move. So they're backing Iran now. So this is very significant. Okay. So going back to the prophecy. So it says that with his face toward the East Sea and his hinder part toward the utmost sea. And that's the Red Sea. All right. which you see on the other side of Saudi Arabia. And Saudi Arabia is a big desert. That's a basically a desolate place. All right. And then that's, all the conflict is surrounding the area. Because, of course, Iran is involved in this war with Israel. You got Yemen that's involved, and they're on the side of Iran, right? You got the Houthi rebels in Yemen. And, you got Iraq, of course, Syria up above. All these different countries, they're all in conflict right now. See? You got Ethiopia right there, and which, pursuant to Ezekiel, the 38th chapter, Ethiopia will be a part of the alliance as well. And Gog will have to be a guard unto Ethiopia, as well as Persia, which is Iran, and Libya as well. Okay. So going back here, so you seeing, it says, in an unprecedented move, Saudi Arabia and Iran held their first joint naval drills in the Gulf of Oman, signaling a rare thaw in their long-standing rivalry. So, yeah, this is this is very significant, and this is of the Lord's doing, because, like the scriptures say, the heart of the king, which is usually the leader, whether it's your prime minister, over here it would be considered your president, or whatnot. He said the hand of the king is in the hand of the Lord. And like the river of water, he turneth it whithersoever he wills. So the Lord is in control of this. He's the one that's stirring this up. Okay. Setting up all these different war strategies. Because, World War III, the third war, is imminent, and they know it. So let's go back to Joel 2. It says, in his hinder part toward the utmost sea, right, the Red Sea, and his stink shall come up, and his ill savor shall come up, because he have done great things. So it's going to be a lot of dead bodies, piling up in that desert, because they're going to be at war. Okay. And a land barren and desolate. Let's just, look at pictures of the Saudi Arabian desert so you can see. Hold up. So here you got the images. So you got all this desolate space. All right. And then the fact that these two are, doing these naval drills, it speaks about in 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter, which I'm not going to go to it. I'll just quote it. What talks about how the dragons of Arabia, how they're going to basically, they're going to come all out, with many chariots and multitudes. And they're going to, basically come out, with power. They're going to remember their nature. The scriptures tell you that Ishmael is a wild man. All right. And the Carmanians, which is another name for the Iranians or the Persians, it talks about how they're going to go raging in wrath and go forth as a wild boar. Wild boars of the wood, and they shall have great power, and they shall come and join in battle. So this is what we're seeing. You don't do drills unless you're preparing for something. This is a war practice. So, this is a prophecy, taking place. And it says in the same tweet, well, we know it's X now. It says the exercises come after a China brokered reconciliation, though analysts view it as a strategic hedge by Riyadh amid tensions with Israel. So, yeah, this thing is getting heightened, man. And, we're going to see more escalate from it, especially looking at what just happened with the latest attack. Iran is basically saying that they didn't really do nothing significant with their strikes the other night. So they probably going to fall back like, okay, they just wasted more missiles and whatnot. And Americans going to continue to foot the bill, hurting their own pockets for them to keep on, using all this firepower, and it's not doing anything significant, But eventually, it's something's gonna happen, and the Lord's gonna, blow that spark. That's gonna, cause this thing to descend into a widespread fire that can't be put out. Okay, because we know it's the Lord that's mustering the host of the battle. So for all we know right now, this is all part of the rumors of war. As a matter of fact, let me just get that. Matthew 24 and 6, and it says, "And you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet." All right. But this is definitely report worthy, to do a lesson on, because if you understood the history between the two, they at one point in time they were not cool like that, but now they're part of the same alliance, or Saudi Arabia is choosing China. China, they've become strong economically, militarily. They're manufacturing the hub, or trade hub of the world. They're all dealing with the same economic system that circumvents the Western economic system, the U.S. in particular, dealing with the petrol. The Saudis are no longer dealing with the petrol to trade in exchange for oil. So, this is these nations, they're finally turning against the whore and the beast, So, yeah, man, this is good news, and hopefully more comes from it. And we're going to see in the days ahead, leading up to the election, what also takes place. Is there going to be a further escalation after the Israelis just, sent those strikes at Iran? Is Iran going to do something significant? Who knows? All right. And whoever gets in office is going to determine, how sooner the ball is going to get rolling when it comes to, aiding that war over there. All right. So yeah, man, let's just sit back and continue to, watch and see what goes down. But prophecy is definitely speaking. Okay. And it's going to further escalate into that third world's war. And the second woe has passed, and lo and behold, the third woe come quickly. So, I'm gonna end it right there. And Lord's will, y'all were edified. I'm gonna give all praise to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. And to the next one, Shalom.